People have a choice to be gay or straight these days, right? Some of the craziest things against God's rules on this earth. We have a choice now.
Oh, we are getting reaction tonight in response to those comments made by a Northwest Allen County School Board member during last night's meeting. That board member, Steve Bartkus, said that wearing masks should be a choice, and he likened that to his belief that people make a choice to be gay. Thank you for choosing us. I'm Brian McElhatton. The comments were made during a discussion about the district's mask requirement for students. There is a lot to unpack here tonight. Let's begin with Carly Van Cleve.
Brian, you'll hear the comments in just a moment. And I should tell you, a spokesperson for Northwest Allen County Schools says that district leaders do not support or agree with this part of what board member Bartkus said in any way. And the superintendent says the district is committed to their mission to provide a healthy and safe learning environment for everyone.
Wednesday, while debating whether the district should continue to require students to wear face masks during the pandemic, board member Steve Bartkus said this.
People have a choice to be gay or straight these days, right? Some of the craziest things against God's rules on this earth. We have a choice now. So when do the parents get a choice here? The children get a choice. Whether this is good for their family or their own personal well-being, because there's a lot of families that are psychologically affected with this, physically affected with this. We're not saying that masks don't work. They do for some cases.
I asked Bartkus to clarify what he meant. He declined an on-camera interview, but told me over the phone he is sorry if he offended anyone. He wanted to emphasize people's right to choose when it comes to students wearing a mask. Comparing that with choosing sexual orientation isn't sitting well with some.
People have a choice to be educated or ignorant, and I don't believe that Mr. Bartkus represents the majority of parents, students, teachers, administrators in our district.
Sarah Bridgewater has 2 children in the district.
We have not ever told our children that it is a choice that someone makes, but just who they are, and that's how they're born.
She says when she heard these comments, she was furious.
I think that Mr. Bartkus should resign. I just don't think that he has a really good understanding of the student body, of the culture of the NACS community.
Sexual preference or gender identity is not a choice that one makes.
AJ Lorenzini is with an organization called Glisten Fort Wayne, a group that helps advocate for LGBTQ students.
You are a young LGBTQ plus person in the district and you hear someone of authority saying those things, it can have negative consequences.
But he says he doesn't want Bartkus to resign. Instead, he says this should lead to a dialogue through seminars or workshops, and he'd like to sit down and talk with Bartkus.
There's willingness, learning can happen and change can be made, and we make mistakes, but it's the willingness to learn from them that's the big thing.
Over the phone, Bartkus told me, quote, "I have a lot of gay friends and I treat them like people, but they have a choice to be that way and act out the way that they are," end quote. He went on to say, our reporting should focus on the issue of whether to require face masks or not. By the way, you'll find the superintendent's full statement with this story at WPTA21.com.